But we don't want to let anything cloud us from hearing what the Lord is speaking to us through the preached word. We don't want anything, our agenda, what we're looking for, we're admiring what we want. We don't want that to cloud us. So let's take a moment now and ask the Lord if He will open up our eyes so we can see Him. Let's take a moment to enter in our personal prayer time and ask the Lord to remove anything that would prohibit us from seeking Him and all of His glory. Let's pray now, shall we? Speak to us, Lord Jesus. Speak to us. Praise your name. Glory to you. Just open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Want to see you high and lifted up. See you shining in the light of your glory. Lord, won't you pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Just open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Just open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you.
Hotep to you, my brothers and my sisters,
as I
as I
greet you
greet
in
you
the
in the
light
light
and the
and the
love
love
of
of
the
the
Most
Most
High
High
Creator.
Creator.
This is the
This is the
day
day
that the
that the
Creator
Creator
has
has
made, and
made,
we
and we certainly going to rejoice
and be
and be
glad in
glad
it.
in it.
We like
We
to
like to
thank all
thank
of
all of
you
you
who
who
are
are
in
in
TV
TV
land or
land or
video
video
land
land
for
for
tuning
tuning
in
in
to
to
our
our
this
this
morning
morning
broadcast.
broadcast.
We
We
are
are
blessed of
blessed
the
of the
Creator
Creator
that
that
we
we
have
have
the
the
privilege of
privilege of
being here
being
with
here
you
with you
on this
on this
day.
day.
It is a
It is a
great
great
awakening,
awakening,
and
and
you ought to
you
be
ought to be
giving
giving
praise to the
praise to the
Creator
Creator
for
for
allowing
allowing
you
you
to
to
come
come
forward.
forward.
Okay,
Okay,
sounds like we
sounds like
got
we
some
got some
echoing
echoing
going
going
on.
on.
Sister
Sister
Cinderella,
Cinderella,
let me
let me
see
see
here.
here.
Okay, I know
Okay,
what
I
I
know what
need
I
to do.
need to do.
I
I
know what
know
I
what I
need to
need to
do.
do.
Okay,
Okay,
the
the
echoing
echoing
should be
should be
gone.
gone.
Tell me
Tell me
whether or
whether or
not the
not the
echoing is
echoing is
gone.
gone.
The
The
echoing
echoing
should be
should be
gone.
gone.
Okay.
The echoing should be gone. Let me know if the echoes are gone. Okay, what about now? We should not be echoing now. We should not be echoing now. Wow. Only got one mic open. Let me see here. One mic should be open. One mic should be open. Delete shot. Okay, what is this? Internal. Let's delete that shot. Let's see what that is. Internal. Oh, we'll delete that shot too. Okay. What about now? Are we echoing? Are we getting an echo now? I just made some adjustments. So we should not be getting any echoing now. Hotep to you, my sister. Hotep to you, my sister. Echoing? I don't know what the deal is. We shouldn't be doing any echoing. Whatever I did is worse, huh? What about now? Are we getting any echoing now? Let me see. Let me shut this down. Are we getting echoing now? Just shut down one site. We should not be getting any echoing at all. Wow, okay. Ooh. Are we getting echoing now? Are we getting any echoing now? Gotta get back online here. Are we still getting echoing? Wow, I don't know what the deal is, folks. I don't know what the deal is. Just shut down all of my... Just shut down all of my mics. Okay, I got one mic open. We should not be getting any echoing. If we get echoing, you might want to check your systems. Because I only have one mic open and it's worse. It's worse. Wow. I don't know what's going on now. I got one mic open. There should not be any echoing at all. My system is feeding out of one microphone, and so therefore there should be okay, Walt says the echo is gone from him. Okay, better. Okay. I don't know what the deal was, but we'll get started. All right. We've been dealing with this concept of truth. Jesus says in the book of John, chapter 8, verse 31, Jesus says to the Jews who believed in him, if you obey my teachings, he said, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So here, we're trying to be free. Okay, now we're not talking about free in a physical sense. We're talking about free in a spiritual sense, to whereas the spirit sets the physical free. Okay, if you are vibrating on the right frequency spiritually, then your physical manifestations will be free. Okay, I put a post on Facebook this morning talking about transmutation, being able to transmute energy from the spirit realm to the physical realm, and being able to utilize that energy to manifest your physical realities. And you cannot do that without understanding the usage of power. And energy. And so, because we have been placed under this spell of religion, okay? Now, when we talk about religion, we are talking about all religions. We are talking about Islam. We are talking about Christianity, Catholicism. We are talking about being a Jehovah's Witness, being a Mormon. We are talking about all religions because religions are designed. Okay, when you go back to the origination of religion, the concept of religion will suggest that you religiously do something. Okay, you got to do it. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. It's a religion for me. I got to get up every day. I got to brush my teeth in the morning. I got to brush my teeth at night. So that becomes a religion. That's something that I am doing ritualistically. Okay, and so in some sense, religion can be viewed as something positive. Okay, but when we talk about spiritual religion takes it to another level. Because remember, everything is first spiritual before it becomes physical. And so, because you are spiritual, but because your mind thinks that you are physical, okay, because you have lived in this dimension to where you've been taught who you are. You are a physical being, they tell you. But in all actuality, you are a spiritual being, okay? The spiritual being is occupying this physical sleeve that we live in, this physical manifestations that they say we are. To whereas that's not who you really are. You are the spirit that's inside of that. So people cannot visually see you, okay? They can only experience you. And if the frequency connects, you will be able to see the individual. You'll be able to see the spirit, okay? Now spiritually seeing is totally different from physically seeing, okay? Because again, your eyes do not physically see anything. Your eyes, along with the other four senses, are accumulating data. They are receiving data, and that data is being sent to the brain to where the brain begins to interpret the data. So your eyes do not see, your nose do not smell, your ears do not hear. All of that is interpretation of information that is being sent. Okay? That is being sent to the brain. And the brain interprets the manifestation. So if you're able to control or manage the energy that's outside of you, because, all of this is frequency. All of this is vibration. Your hand feels the vibration in the desk or the chair that you're sitting in, because the desk and the chair that you are participating with is constantly in motion. See, matter is constantly in motion because it's made up of energy. And so just because it's solid does not mean that it's not moving. It's moving in the spirit realm, in the energetic realm. And so all of this is a matter of interpretation. So when you get to the place of being able to manage energy, then you're able to change physical outcomes, okay? And so because we've been indoctrinated with this concept called religion that has now become a church, that has now become Christianity, that has now become who you are, okay? And so something from the physical realm has determined for you who you are. Because when religion was established, it was established outside of the physical realm. Okay? Because religion basically was instituted from Egypt. The concept of Egypt, the belief system of Egypt, when the belief system was about Osiris and Aset and Horus, okay? Which in Egypt, they knew that energy as Asar, Aset, and Haru, okay? That was a system of belief in how the Creator participates with us and how the Creator created. So that system was already set in around 600 BC. The system was under attack and it became a concept of religion. Okay, it became a concept of religion in 600 AD, I should say, AD, after death. It became a concept of religion, but up until 600 AD, the people of that area believed in the Egyptians' belief system. Everybody was connected to the Egyptian belief system that had nothing to do with religion. Okay? It had nothing to do with religion. And so, the question that you should be asking without feeling guilty about attacking your goal, your idea is not to attack anything. Your idea or your goal is to know the truth. Because Jesus says, if you know the truth will set you free. Okay, if you know the truth will set you free. So the question should be asked, what does this concept of Christianity mean to me? Okay, because Christianity is a concept, an idea that is said to be a religion. Okay, because the religion was designed. Okay, the religion was designed long before African people participated with it. Okay, long before African Americans participated with it. Okay, long before you participated with it. Because some of y'all don't want to identify with your blackness, your Africanusness, if I can say, But you are an African. If you say I am not an African, you are denying your first frequency. Because anybody who is of African descent, they have dominant genetics. Okay? All Africans have dominant genetics, and the dominant genetics make every other ethnicity. Okay? So because you are of African descent, your genetics are dominant. Okay, everybody else have recessive genetics. Okay, we are the only one. Africans are the only ones that can populate all races, all human races. Okay, and so you have to understand and conclude for yourself, because when you deny yourself of true identity, you are denying yourself of true reality. Okay? True reality. When you deny yourself of true identity, you deny yourself of true reality. So your reality will never be correct because your identity is off. Okay? It's kind of like when we used to drive our older vehicles before electronic ignition came into play in vehicles. They had in the under the hood on the motor, they had a carburetor and they had points and you had spark plugs. Okay? Now, your points had to be set in order for the spark plugs to spark smoothly to permit the car to run smoothly. Now, if your points are off, then your carburetor is going to be off and your spark plugs are going to be off, and it's the vehicle is not going to run smoothly. So therefore, you must adjust your points to bring everything in alignment. And this is what we have to do as believers. We have to begin to realign ourselves with truth. Okay, realign ourselves with what the Creator has said is truth, not necessarily what mankind has said that is truth. So when we get into this question, what does Christianity mean to us? It's not that you're attacking Christianity. You are asking a poignant question. What does this mean to me? Okay, not to us. Okay, because what it means to me is totally different to what it means to someone else. So you want to ask yourself, the question, what does this concept of Christianity mean to me? Okay? Now, understand that when Africans were brought to the Americas and was placed in the conditions of slavery, Africans had no religion. Their religion was stripped from them. Okay? They had no God because they were not viewed as human. Okay? The Americans here in America did not view the Africans as human. Okay? Okay? Now you got to deal with mindset, because we're dealing with Christianity as a religion. Okay? Because they believed in Christianity. They believed in their God, and therefore they were functioning in accordance in their beliefs. Okay? Even though they believed in God, Christianity, love thy neighbor, that sort of thing, they still treated a group of individuals badly. Now, understand that during this time, there was only Caucasians and blacks. There was not this issue of Asians, Mexicans, and everybody else. Okay? It was white and black. Anything that was black was not human in their opinion. Okay? But yet they were nations of Christians. Okay? Because when they established this country, they identified this country as a Christian nation, nationally. In 1776, it became a Christian nation. Okay? In the 1400s, when they came over with the concept of we are Christians. Okay? They were leaving the UK or Europe because of oppression, and they wanted to start a new life in a new land. So the very thing that they were running from, they began to institute in the land that they say that they had established. Okay, we don't have to go in through this whole teaching on there were already black people here before Columbus got here in the 1400s. There were already Africans here on this continent. But yet, as they established and as they enslaved, that group of Africans did not have a religion. Okay? And as time evolved, the religion, they were permitted to participate in the Caucasians' religion called Christianity. Okay? They was able to teach other black individuals to become preachers, to preach the word of honor thy master and that sort of thing to the African people. So you had black preachers preaching the word to the African people, telling them that the Bible says that they were supposed to be slaves, basically. And so this is the teachings of Christianity that was being taught to the African people. So the African people began to embrace this concept of Christianity because they were believing that God would deliver them, just like the Hebrews were believing that God will deliver them. Okay? Now, I watched the movie the other day that Will Smith played in. I'm trying to think of the name of it. His new movie out about emancipation. And throughout the movie, there was the inference that God will deliver them. God will take care of them. And there was a dialogue going back and forth with Will Smith and another African that was enslaved. And Will was telling them, God's going to deliver us. God's going to take care of you. Boom, boom, boom. And the guy rebuked Will Smith with that concept, you know. And so even in the distress that they were in, they still had a confidence in this concept of Christianity about this God who's going to help them, okay? And so as time evolved, okay, even to the 2023, we still have not been considered equal to the Caucasians that enslaved the African people over the last, 400 years, okay? And so this concept of Christianity that had been given to us, okay? See, God did not give you Christianity. The Caucasians gave you Christianity, okay? African people believed in the Creator God who created nature, and nature and man was in oneness with each other. Mankind saw the Creator in nature, in the tree, in the grass, in the water, in the fruit, in everything. The Africans saw the Creator God in it, and they believed that they were one with it, with nature. Okay? Now remember, the concept of Christianity really did not take effect in the way we know it today, okay? In the way that we know it today until the 1500s. Okay? That's just 523 years ago. Okay? The 1500s. And that's when Martin Luther established the Protestant Reformation that defined Christianity. Christianity was not Christianity as we know it today during the time of the resurrection 2,000 years ago. When Jesus died and resurrected, Christianity did not begin. Okay? Catholicism began, okay, as the first indoctrination of religion. Catholicism began because the Roman government established the Catholic Church, okay, in the 300s, 300 AD, where the Catholic Church began, after all of this warring and that sort of thing, battling back and forth with the Jews in Rome. The Catholic Church was put in place to control the activity of the Jews, okay, the so-called Jews, okay? Now, when the Catholic Church was put in place, the Catholic Church was demanding that everybody that did not identify with Rome, because Rome saw themselves different, okay? They had a different belief system. They believed in Hercules, Zeus, Poseidon. You know, they believed in all of the mythical gods. Okay, now Rome didn't have a problem with the Jewish people or everybody else not participating in their belief system. Rome didn't have a problem with it. Rome did not demand that people had to believe in what they believed in. And this is why they established the Catholic Church, so that they can give them a religion, okay? They can give them a religion that they could believe in. And the religion was to be paralleled with the history of the Roman Empire. So therefore, as these Jews, Hebrews, and everybody else worship what they believed they were worshiping, they were in all actually recognizing the Roman government, the Romans' history, okay? And so that is what was going on in regards to establishing a system that they can control people with, okay? So this concept started back then, okay? And as time evolved, because Rome wanted everybody to become a Catholic, okay, through the Catholic Church began what we call the Catholic Inquisition, okay? The Catholic Inquisition, to where if you did not accept being a Catholic, the Catholic Church killed you. You know, brutally. You know, history says that they brutally killed over 500 million people because they did not want to be Catholic. And so all of this nefarious activity is rooted in this concept called Catholicism / Christianity. Okay? So, as time went forth, now here's the kicker. Here's where we get our stories about that's in the Bible. Okay? And I'm just being led right now. And it teaches that at the Council of Nicaea, there was the emperor that was in place called Constantine. Constantine called together all of the bishops, Catholic bishops, at that time to a meeting. They had a meeting together, a conference. Constantine said, we're going to come up with a final document of a belief system to be able to give the Jewish people. Okay? Now, at this point in time, the idea of being a Hebrew is gone. Now you are identified as a Jew. Okay? And so there was an African brother who was a bishop. He didn't agree with the concept that Constantine and the other bishops were developing. They were developing the story about Jesus. And they made Jesus, they had several different concepts of stories. Okay? And so, because Arius, and you can look Arius up, Bishop Arius, you can look him up, they would not permit Arius and his associates, his other bishop associates, to participate in the conference. So they put up 2-3 stories, and they voted on which story is going to be the final document of Catholicism / Christianity. So these stories were put together in the story of Jesus being the Son of God, because they understood the worship of the Son. the S-U-N, okay? They understood that worship. And they said, well, let's change the S-U-N to the S-O-N, and let's give them the worship of the Father or the Creator. They didn't consider God as the Creator. At this point in time, they believed in the Father, the Holy Pope, and that sort of thing, being a deity, in a deity form. So the concept of Father was put in place, okay, as being the God. The S-U-N was changed to the S-O-N, okay? And the S-O-N and the Father, who represented God, they got the most votes at the conference. So the story of Jesus was developed at this council called Nicaea. Now, if you want to research this, you want to go to the Council of Nicaea in 326, and you can go to Wikipedia, you can Google it, and you can read about what took place at this conference. See, this is not made up stuff. This is not, the story of Jesus is not a story that is told by Jewish or Hebrew people. This story that is being told is told by those who were hired to do what they did, okay? Because remember, the Catholic Church was in bed with the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire was empowering the Catholic Church to do what they were able to do, okay? And so because this story got the most vote, this became the religion of Catholicism / Christianity. Until Martin Luther began to question some of the doctrines, okay? Some of the doctrines, because we're asking the question, what does Christianity mean to you? And because I asked myself the question, I began to research it for myself. And so I discovered that Martin Luther challenged some of the doctrine, okay? Martin Luther had a problem with the Catholic Church selling what they call indulgence, okay? Selling an indulgence. If you were wealthy, you can purchase indulgence from the Catholic Church, because back then at this time, those people believed in what the church can provide for them. They believed that God was working through the Catholic Church in a spiritual way. And so because they believed that, the Catholic Church took advantage of it, and they will sell these indulgences, which means that you can purchase the right to sin and be forgiven for it because you paid for it. So they would buy prostitutes, they would buy, they would murder and pay for the forgiveness of the murder, pay for the function of prostitution. They would, just indulgence. See, only the wealthy was able to participate in this quote unquote freedom. Okay? So Martin Luther had a problem with that. Martin Luther had a problem with the fact that the Catholic Church was telling the people that they had to work to be saved. They had to work to be saved. And Martin Luther says, well, hold up. In Romans 1, 16 and 17, it says that we are saved by faith. We are saved by faith, not by our works. So why are y'all teaching that everybody got to do all these works, all these penance in order to be saved? And this is why, when you're Catholic and you go to confession and you confess some sins, the priest would tell you, well, go do certain things, go do this, go do that, and your sins will be forgiven. So these are works, okay? And so Martin Luther said, I got a problem with that. We shouldn't have to work to be saved. The scripture says we saved by our faith. What are you saved from? See, this is the other thing about salvation, is that Christianity later comes to teach that we have to be saved in order to be identified as a Christian. What do you need? What do you have to be saved from? Okay? What do you have to be saved from? See, this whole concept of being saved, there's a teaching that deals with being saved and not saved and saved from what and that sort of thing. So I don't want to get off track right now. I might come back later and teach on this idea of being saved in order to be a Christian. See, that's the problem. Because being a Christian was not given by God, okay? Becoming a Christian was basically established by Martin Luther in the 1500s when he decided to leave the Catholic Church, okay? He decided to leave the Catholic Church, and he started what we know today to be the Protestant Reformation. The Protestant Reformation, okay? And so here is where you get the division of all of these Christian churches. You got Baptist, you got Methodist, you got Pentecostal, you got Church of God in Christ, you got Christian Reform, you got Word Church, you got all of these denominations that have separated, okay? Because originally it started off with the Baptists and the Methodists, okay? The Baptists and the Methodists, if I recall, are probably the oldest denominations that were established, but then you have all of these offshoots that began to root themselves, and people began to identify with it. So now you done went from Catholicism, identifying as a Catholic, to a Christian, to a Baptist, or whatever. See, the identity changes, okay, over the time of evolution. The identity changes, which changes the reality, okay? Because originally, you were not a Catholic. Originally, you were not a Christian. Originally, you were not a Baptist or a Episcopalian or Methodist. You were not any of that. So because we are functioning in these identities, we have lessened our abilities to be able to function in the fullness of the Holy Spirit, because we have lessened our identity. We really don't know our identity. We have not changed or returned back to our origination. And so we cannot participate in the fullness of spirituality, okay? Now, I often taught that we are moving into a different house, okay? A different house of the zodiacs, okay? Zodiac, all this what's your sign stuff, it means something, but we're not talking about this bull crap about what's your sign and all this kind of stuff. You got to understand that there's a true science to the 12 signs of the zodiacs that exists in the heavens. And so during the days of Jesus, it is said that we were in the house of Pisces, okay? So the energy of Pisces was being radiated, okay, during the time of Jesus, okay, 2,000 years ago. So things change. We enter into different houses, I think approximately every 2,600 years, approximately. So we are now entering into the house of Aquarius. Okay. Some people say that we already are in the house of Aquarius. Some say we are entering into the house of Aquarius. But we know scientifically that the planet that we exist on is coming into an alignment with some other luminaries. Okay? So because we are coming into this alignment is opening up the interest of a new download. Okay? The Creator God is sending forth new information, new energy to those who have the frequency to be able to receive it. Okay? So there's new information that is coming, quote unquote, from the sun, because the sun carries the rays of light. Light is considered to be intelligence, according to Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. So now we have this new energy that is coming into our system that is to energize those who are functioning under the right frequency to a new level. Okay, to another level of vibration. Okay, so this energy is coming in, and those who are empowered. So you got to understand that there is a power that exists in this system that understands the cosmological nuances of time. Okay, because remember, time is secular. It is not linear. It is cyclical. Okay, and so they understand all of the scientific nuances of things that are happening in the heavens that is cause and effect here on the earth. They understand all of that. Okay, and because they understand that they realize that this new energy can change the system here on this planet. Okay? They realize that if the massive begin to function on the same vibration, that it will change the manifestations here in this system, because the system is ran by frequency and vibrations. Okay? So therefore, they have to change the frequency. They have to change the frequency to stay in control of the vibration here on the planet, regardless of the information that is coming in. So they began to change that by transmutation. I posted this morning. They are manipulating the energy. Okay? They change you by changing what you see, by changing what you think. Okay? Because we talked about it earlier, you know, and it goes to the scripture, as a man thinketh, so is he. So transmutation says that we build up pictures in our minds, and those pictures that we build in our minds dictates the manifestations on the outside. Okay? Those thoughts become pictures. And so the powers to be know that if, in order to be able to change the manifestations or the vibration or the frequency of the masses, they have to change the way they think. Okay? They have to change the way they think. And so therefore they begin to show us things on the television. The television. Now remember back in our days, those of you who are functioning around my age, we had cartoons. We had cartoons. We got up on Saturday morning and we watched cartoons. We watched Huckleberry Hound. We watched Mighty Mouse, Underdog, Space Ghost. We watched all of these cartoons all day long. Okay? Saturday was a day for kids. Okay? Enjoyed the cartoons. You know, Speedy Gonzales, you know, the mouse that was very fast and all this. And so they were showing us these animals, you know, functioning basically as humans, but they were animals and they were talking, you know, to us, Mr. Peabody, Sherman, you know, so you had people and then you had animal cartoons that were functioning together. And so with us seeing that, we're basing or we're establishing concepts within our minds, okay? And those concepts bury themselves within us. And so later on, as time goes linear, they start showing, you know, Mr. Green Jean and Captain Kangaroo and Miss Sally and, you know, all of these individuals who began to teach us, they began to teach us through utilizing puppets and stuff like that. So now it's becoming more human, okay? Then they show Mickey Mouse, you know, in a suit. He's a human in a suit. They functioning, talking, you know, Bozo, you know. So now they're programmed, they pre-programming you to be able to accept some things that's going to come later. See, these people think hundreds of years forward. So because you're in your mind and you watching all this on the television, when you see it, it's normal. It's normal, okay? See, the cartoons that they show today is totally different from the cartoons that they showed back then. You know, you got Barney, you got the Muppets, you got all these other entities that are now teaching, you know, the children, okay? And they have gay puppets, okay? They have white and black relationships as far as puppets and animals and that sort of thing. So now they bringing it into the reality, human reality, because they showing through all of the commercials, okay, through all of the commercials, these relationships, you know, because they trying to prohibit the energy from penetrating in you in order for you to change your function, your vibration, your frequency. So they show, you know, gay men on television, gay men with children. You know, they show two black gay men together and kissing and all of that. That depiction nullifies your ability to receive your energy to function as a king or a queen. Okay? Because you are now misidentifying yourself because of this type of relationship that you are choosing to function in. You know, you see on the commercials black men and white women together all the time. You know, you don't see a lot of commercials with white men and black women. You see it predominantly with black men and white women because they're trying to change a narrative. Okay, they trying to weaken the carbon that comes through two melanated people having a child. Okay, because when a dominant produces a child with a recessive, it minimizes the dominance. Okay. However, when two dominants produce a child, then you produce a dominant child. Okay, the dominant energy. Okay, so these powers are trying to change the receptivity of energy that is coming into the planet because we are falling into alignment that is going to permit this new world order, as I may. Okay, this new, because see, people can change conditions if they are vibrating together. Okay, it's just like all of this tyranny that black people go through, in regards to economics. We're spending over $1 trillion a year in society, but yet none of that money turns over in our community. Unlike the Jewish people, 18% or higher, the Asians, 12 to 15%, the Mexicans, 9%, everybody's monies circulate within their community with the exception of black people in America. But yet we're spending more money than any of them. We take in $1 trillion and we spend $1 trillion basically. And so just think if we decided to allow that $1 trillion to circulate within our community 4 or 5 times, how much this whole society would change. Okay? And it can be easily done if blacks in America just decided for 1 week not to spend any money. Not to spend any money for 1 week. Let's not spend no money. Let's not buy no gas. Let's not buy no groceries. Let's not buy no clothes. Let's not do anything that it takes money to do for 1 week. Now, we can do that because we can survive with what we got right now for a whole week, 7 days. The whole economy would change because the synergy changed. And when the synergy changed, the energy changes. And the powers that are in place understands that. Now, we're still talking about, what does Christianity mean to us? Because, see, we are functioning, okay, in the mindset of Christianity. The majority of us who are Christians, we are functioning from those principles, okay? We live by do unto others as they would have do unto you. You reap what you sow. We live by the scriptures. Even though we may not be perfect in our walk as Christians, we still live by the creed. Okay? We not gonna kill, we're not gonna steal, we're not gonna do all of the stuff that people who do not ascribe to Christianity do. Okay? And so it creates a synergy in the midst of the Christians. Okay? The synergy in the midst of Catholicism, the synergy that exists in certain denominations. They are different synergies that produces different energies. Okay? So why participate in all of that madness? Why not understand what it means to you? Okay? What was the purpose of it? I talked about that. It was to control a group of people, and that purpose has evolved over time. Okay? That purpose has continued to evolve as it pertains to control. Okay? This is why, they would rather not the church be a part of the government, because it changes the way the government can function. The church can change the whole functionality of how government functions. So they don't want you Christians in there. They'll use Christians. They'll use them for political gain, but they don't want you in there. And this is why they say separation between church and state, because it changes the synergy and the energy that changes the frequency and changes the realities of what exists in this system. Okay? So thus far, I've been addressing, what does Christianity mean to you? You know, that's a question that you have to ask yourself. I gave you a summary of what the purpose of Christianity was for. Okay? I gave you a summary of where Christianity comes from. Okay? And with that information, okay, that should help you understand your position. See, I'm not saying that it's bad to call yourself a Christian. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you identify as being a Christian, then you are not living your true reality. Okay? You are functioning at a lower vibration than you can function from if you return to your reality, your true reality. All of us have a true reality. Okay? See, I wrote in my book, my second book that I'm completing, when you are born, okay, because remember, we are a part of the totality of consciousness. The Creator is consciousness, and we are a part of the totality of that consciousness. So when you are born, I call that consciousness awakening. Consciousness is awakening when you are born, okay? And as you evolve, you begin to learn how to do various different things, okay? You begin to learn it, okay? And you are receiving certain frequencies and vibrations, and you really don't understand the frequencies and vibrations that you are receiving. When a baby is crawling around on the floor, the baby is exploring all of the different things that are new to it. And so when the baby picks up something, the baby is examining it, is touching it, and then it wants to taste it, and then it wants to hit it on the ground, and it's exploring that item. And all of that information is going into the child, because the child see it, the child touched it, the child tasted it, the child heard it when it was hitting it on the ground and all of that sort of thing. So the child is sending information into its system. Although the brain has not developed to the place to where the brain can define what that is to where it makes sense to the child, so it stores that as memory, okay? The child sees something. He sees mom and dad do something. The child sees another kid do something. The child begins to see, regardless of whether or not the child understands what it sees, it stores that information. And this is how we become what we become, is because of what we call the epigenetics that is stored within us. So this whole idea that Christianity teaches us that we are born in sin because of what Adam and Eve so-called did, that it has perpetuated on down to us, that we are born with this. No, we are born with the possibility of all that. Because we don't have to choose to do negative things. We don't have to choose to function on the negative side of energy. We choose to. Okay, it's not that we inherit this thing. And, we are taught that we are inherited this thing called sin, and this is what, again, places us in bondage and prohibited us from ascending, okay? From ascending. We cannot ascend because of our control that we placed on ourselves by indoctrinating ourselves into certain systems. Okay? See the cosmos, the world, okay? The Greek word is cosmos, means an orderly system. Okay? An orderly system. And we live in an orderly system, and we are commanded to function within the orderly system. Okay? However, the system that we function in is not neutral to everybody. Okay? We function in it, but certain systems does not work for certain groups of people. Okay, just like they had the banking system, and what Caucasians decided to do was redline African Americans, to where depending on where your location was, determined whether or not the bank was going to loan you money to buy property. Okay, they call that redlining. And so black people were not able to buy homes the same as white people. So that was a system that was not neutral. It was totally biased. It leaned more to the left side, I would say, because I would say left negative, right positive. So it would lean more to the left side when it comes to the participation of that system with African American people. So we live in this system that is designed to control certain functioning. Okay. So when you realize your awakening, I termed it. I'm trying to get to my terms in my book. I called it oh mm, let me see if I can pull that up. Conscious. Conscious. Okay, let's see. Because that would be something good. Um, uh, oh, wow. It's just slipping my mind. But conscious awakening, I talked about, let me see if I got it in my notes. Because this will help you. Okay. Uh, conscious awakening confused consciousness, because that's where you go into, once you are awakened in your consciousness and you are now navigating through life from a child on up to an adult, I call that conscious confusion, okay? Because a lot of things that we begin to deal with is confusion. It's confused, very ambiguous. So I call that conscious confusion. Okay, when you get into the area of choosing a religion, okay, I call that Christian consciousness, because when we live in the realm of Christianity, our functions are totally different. Okay, and so that is what I would consider Christian consciousness, because now all you want to do is judge people. When you become conscious of Christianity, you judging people instead of making judgments of activity. See, we're supposed to make judgment in this society, what we see, in order to assist us in controlling our conduct. So we have conscious awakening, we have Christian consciousness, and then, I would say Christian confusion. Confused consciousness, and then the Christian consciousness. Okay, then the Christian consciousness, because we when we become this, our attitude changes. Okay, and for a lot of people, they take on the concept that they're better than everybody else because now that they are Christian. And so you begin this concept of judging everybody, and you're wrong to judge everybody, okay, about what they do, because they have the right to do whatever it is that they're doing. Now, you have the right to make a judgment about what they're doing, okay? Because when you make a judgment about what someone is doing, you are unpacking those activities and you are making a decision whether or not you're going to do the same activity, okay? So you make a judgment. And this is why the scripture says, when you see your brother fall in a sin, you who are spiritual, pick them up. Okay, pick them up and restore them. Forgive them and restore them. Okay, so the principle here is when you see your brother fall in a sin. So in order to conclude that your brother has fallen, you have to be able to define what his activity is. Okay, what the activity is, and if the activity defines what we would call sin, then you determine for yourself that that's something that I'm not going to do, because you can't help your brother if you are guilty of the same thing. If you're doing the same thing, you can't call that sin to help your brother. So you have to be free of it, okay, of that function to be able to help your brother. Okay? And so when you realize the three areas of life, conscious awakening, those are three things that you have to understand. You want to understand conscious awakening, confused consciousness, and Christian consciousness, because we're trying to define and trying to understand Christianity. Okay, see, when you understand something, you can deal with it better. Okay, because again, I'm not saying that it's bad or it's wrong to be a Christian. That's not what I'm saying, because everybody can choose whatever it is they want to choose. I'm saying, and I'm trying to bring understanding to this concept that controls the masses of individuals within our system, okay? Within our system. Now, 22% of people in America call themselves Catholics, okay? So that leaves 18%, okay? I mean, 88%, not 88, but 78% of people, that's something else, okay? And the majority of that residual is Christians. So you have a lot of people that is functioning in the same energy, okay? In the same energy. But yet they're not all functioning under the same frequency. Under the same frequency. And so you have to understand that a frequency can destroy you or it can benefit you. Okay? It can destroy you or it can benefit you. But you want to get to the place of truth. See, truth come on many different levels. And depending on the level that you are vibrating on will determine the manifestations of your outcome. See, you can think that you're on a particular level, but you can't produce what you should be able to produce because your frequency is off, okay? And so therefore your vibration is going to be off and you're not going to be able to produce. It's kind of like you know, we've been trying to sell the building on Capitol Avenue, but yet everybody is not on the same vibration or frequency as it pertains to getting rid of that property. Okay, so it has fallen totally on me, and so now I'm trying to refocus my energy, my frequency to the Creator to be able to bring forth the sale of the property. Okay, see, it could be that, you know, because I was in the midst of all of these other frequency, it was getting in the way of my frequency getting to the Creator. Okay, so the sale of the property is delayed. It's kind of like Elder Walt and I was trying to get some things together this morning online, and we were getting a lot of feedback on his end, and he had at least 3 different electronics functioning, but the frequency of each one of those electronics was clashing with each other and causing interference. Now, all of that energy, they are on the same energy, but because they were not on the same frequency, they were working against one another, okay, instead of with each other, because I have at least 6 different electronics. I got my camera, I got my mic, I got my computer, I got 2 monitors, I got my cell phone right here, and I wasn't getting any distortion because my frequencies are all on the same vibration. They're vibrating on the same frequency. And so therefore, all of this is benefiting me to where Elder Walt's equipment was creating distraction and distortion for him. So energy can help you or it can hinder you if you are not on the same frequency. You have to be on the same frequency to be able to benefit from the usage of the energy. All right. It's 12 o'clock. I think I'll stop there. Give me a thumbs up if this lesson was beneficial to you this morning. Give us a thumbs up. We go back on 317, 319, 319. Did I get some thumbs up? If this lesson has benefited you, give us a thumbs up. Okay. All right, let's see what we want to go out with some sound here.
You doing out there? Ain't God's good?
Oh, come on.
He made a way out of no way. See, this song we're gonna sing just how you know it's called choice. And I know everybody out there that made some choices in it.
It's the Prince of Praise, Byron Cage with Pacific.
I don't know, my iTunes on my computer is not working good, so let me see if I can bring up something on my phone that will help us.
How you doing out there? And God is good.
Let's see.
He made a way out of no way. See, this song we're gonna sing just how you know it's called choice. And I know everybody out there that made some choices in their life. Can I get a witness? See, I was the one walking down the street, drugs and alcohol had my life. This is my mother's testimony. Special touch. Help me sing. The choices we make determines our fate. It's all up to you. We got to live what the Bible says. It's not by side. Let God be your guide to show you the way. Just as long as you get the faith, it's the thing that's hoped for, not seen. But in time, it seems so unreal. I started out, but when I rise in the morning, I say my prayer and I talk to Jesus and His peace, His joy and His love. It showers me. Greater is He that's within me. so grateful, cause I've learned that in God's word, the trials only come to make you strong. Now that I'm stronger, a bit wiser, I thank you, Jesus, my provider, Jehovah Jireh. That's what I say, y'all. Cause faith without works is dead. Choices we make it. It's gonna determine your fate. All you got to do is keep moving, yeah. It's not by sight, not by sight. Show you the way. Show you the way. As long as you keep the faith. The choices we make determines our fate. It's all up to you. You got to live what the Bible says. The choices we make determine your fate. Determines our fate. All you have to do is all. You know.
All right, people.
I just want to let somebody
We'll see you on next Sunday.